Hello, this is our fourth geography lesson, I think now. So by the point at which you see this video, you should have had one lesson from me, one lesson from Mr. Jarman, and then one lesson from Mrs. Sperry, and this should be your fourth lesson. If it's not, you're watching the wrong video, or I put it out in the wrong order. Now, so far, you have looked with me at a way of recording what you saw in your outside area. We looked out the window. Then with Mrs. Sperry and Mr. Jarman, you would have looked at the world around us and how we kind of start to fit into that. And we're going to think about more of that today. So I put an incredibly long learning objective up on the screen here because I've taken it from the national curriculum, and we need to take this apart a bit because it's huge. It's like a paragraph, isn't it? Quick jump in that, I had to pause it, but never mind. So, as I was saying, this is from the national curriculum. It's a phrase of things that you need to be taught in Key Stage 2. So, to use fieldwork to observe, measure, record, and present, so there's 4 bits there, the human and physical features in the local area using a range of methods including sketch maps, plans, graphs, and digital technologies. So there's 2 parts to that. Well, there's 4 parts to that. There's looking at our local area, observing it, measuring things, and then recording and presenting what we find out, both to do with human stuff and physical stuff, so human features and physical features. And then we need to use a range of methods, sketch maps, plans, graphs, digital technologies, etc. Now, I think you've done a map or something map related in one of your previous lessons with Mr. Jarman or Mrs. Sperry. And you've done that diagram that you did with me, the soundscape, and you did the looking out the window and doing a sketch map of a sketch of what you could see out there. Field sketches. We're going to do 2 more ways of recording and presenting our findings today. We're also going to be thinking about scale. We're going to walk. Well, let's look at this. This is the definition of scale we had in our first lesson. There's another important geographical idea that encourages us to study the world around us at a variety of scales, from personal, local, national, and international to the global. And this is a point that geography, you can kind of zoom in and zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, and you can do very similar tasks but at different levels. So if we look at those scales that I've mentioned there, personal, local, national, international, and global, and think about what they mean. Well, personal is literally us and the space around us, our sort of personal space. To me, my sort of personal geography is pretty much the room that I'm in. At a push, it could be the house that I'm in. Local geography is all the area around me. So in your case, most of you, that would be Grove Hill and the area of Grove Hill. Then there's national. So we've got the rest of the country that we're in. If it's something that says national, it's to do with a nation, and a nation in this case is the United Kingdom. So national geography would be to do with the geography of the United Kingdom, the islands that we live on, and the sort of country or countries, depending how you look at it, which are within that. Then there's international and global. Now these 2 words, international and global, are so similar I had to look them up. Because in my head they kind of mean the same thing, because they overlap. So international means something that's between 2 different countries. So if you have international trade, that means that 2 countries are trading things with each other. If you have an international war, you have 2 people fighting with each other. And then there's global. That means the entire world. And the important thing here is that each geography, each layer of geography, each layer in this scale includes the one below it. So personal geography is about us and our personal area. Local geography is about the place that we live in, including us and our personal area. National geography is about the country that we're in, but that includes the town that we're in. International will include us and other countries, and global includes all of the countries. So different levels of scale. Now, we can have a look at that on a map. So what we've got here is a house in Grove Hill. It's one of the houses on Aycliffe Drive, possibly the house that I grew up in when I was younger, but I can't remember which one it was, so I'm just guessing. So that personal geography could just be this house. You need to think about the house that you were in. But we can zoom out from that. And as we zoom out, and zoom out, we get to the local level. Now, local could either be Hemel or Grove Hill. I'm going to think about Grove Hill. And there are a lot of things in Grove Hill, things that you might have links to. You might have a football club that's based in Grove Hill or somewhere near it. You might have a scout group, or you might have a church that you go to. There might be a playground which you go to, shops which you regularly visit, youth clubs, various things in our locality that you are linked to that have an importance to you. But I can keep on zooming out, and I can keep on zooming out until I get to a stage where I can see, well, I can't, whoops, didn't need to move that. Where no longer can I see Grove Hill, but now I can see the whole of the United Kingdom. This is our island. But I can zoom out from that. I can now see our country and other countries, and we've now gone from national, the United Kingdom, to international, the United Kingdom and other countries, be they countries in Europe, countries in Africa, countries in Asia. If I go this way, I find the countries in America, or the Americas. But I can zoom out from that to the point where I can see the whole world, the whole globe. This is global geography. They're very, very different scales. In global geography, I can talk about these deserts, these places of ice and forest and things that kind of dominate the country. What I can't see is little Tesco's or the fish and chip shop. When I zoom right in, I zoom and I zoom, I zoom and I zoom, I zoom in right down to that most local of levels, and I suddenly can see these places. But I can no longer talk about the deserts of the world and the mountain ranges, because we're just too close for that. So, what we're going to do next? We're going to do two pieces of work today. In the first one, we're going to do this. Now, this diagram is made up of concentric circles. That means circles within circles within circles, because it shows that each type of geography is within and part of the one that comes out of it. We can talk about the space that we live in, places that we are connected to within the local, places we've visited, the national, so we've got places within the United Kingdom, and then by the time I've gone global, I've missed international, I've gone straight to global. There could be places that you've heard of but haven't necessarily been to. So let's see how we're going to fill this in. Again, I'm going to use a pen, I'd rather use a pencil. If you have a printer, you can print this out, that's brilliant. If not, you just need to draw 3 circles within each other. You might find 3 things to draw around. So it might be, I don't think I've got one up here, but it might be the bottom of a cup or a glass is that ring, and then maybe a small plate is that small plate with that ring. Just, find 3 things to draw around. Or worst case scenario, just try and freehand draw 3 circles. It's going to be trickier. So Let's zoom in. And I'm going to start with my space. What's around me? Well, then there's the spare room, because that's what I'm in. It's actually not a spare room anymore. It's my daughter's bedroom. What else is around here? There's my wife, Miss Fitzsimmons. And then there's my two daughters. You could put your dog, your bedroom, any of the things that are in your house, in your little world that are important to you. From now onwards, we're going to think about places and physical things. Well, human geography, but things that are physically there. This is the only one where we can put people. Next, we're going to think about places that we are connected to, but we're thinking about a local level. So thinking about Hemel Hempstead or Grove Hill, what are you connected to? It might be that you are connected to, well, you're connected to the school. In fact, you're watching this means you're connected to our school. What else are you connected to? What are the local shops? I expect there have been times when you have been up to the local shops to get things. You might have a friend's house. An auntie's house. Auntie, let's make up a name. Auntie Carol. But again, stick to ones that are within our local area. So you might have an auntie that lives in another country or somewhere else in this country. Don't include them. We're after things in our local area. You might be a member of Scouts or Cubs. I'm not quite sure what age groups they do, so I'll put Cubs. But I think you might be Scouts. I don't know. Playground. Think about all the things in the local area that have a connection to you. There are some things in our local area that probably have absolutely no connection to you. Places that you may never have been in Hemel and Grove Hill and have absolutely no interest in. They have nothing to do with you, you're not connected to them. Don't include them on this. It's things that you have a connection to. Now we're going to move up to the next level, and the next things I'm going to write are going to go in this next ring. Okay? And this is going to be places that I've visited, national places. So anywhere in England that you have been to, places that are important and linked to you. I've been to Ashridge, not recently, unfortunately. I like going on holidays to Devon and Cornwall. Where else have I been? I went to visit Hadrian's Wall once. In Scotland. Where else have I been? The last few holidays I've been to. Well, I like going to Bath to see the Roman baths. That's a place that I've been to. Now, you might be able to fill this with many, many places because you might have been on many trips around. Or there might not be many. It might be that whenever you go on holiday, you go on holiday abroad and you haven't been to many places in England. But try and get a few places down there. And then around the outside is that global thing, places that you have heard of. You don't even need to have been there. It might be nice to choose places that you'd quite like to go. So I've never been to the United States of America, but I think it'd be interesting to go there. I've never been to Canada, but I'd quite like to go there. I'd like to go to Rome, which is a town, not a country. But Depends on how you look at it. So I quite like to go to Rome because I like Roman history. Where else I particularly like to go to? Or just places that I've heard of. I've heard of China. Discovered that a lot of things we own come from China. Quite like Italy in general, so I put Rome, but I'm going to put Italy separately. Now, these don't have to be countries, they don't have to be towns, they can be any combination of those. So, that's your first piece of work. Concentric rings with things that are to do with you in it, starting with things in your house and in your room, moving up to things in your local area that you have connections with, then up to things in your national area, so United Kingdom, that you've been to, and then finally places that are global, places that are anywhere in the world that you'd like to go to, or that you have an interest in, or that you have for some reason heard of. And that's that first piece of work. Then we're going to do a signpost map. Let's get some plain paper. Now, to do a signpost map, I need to put me in it. Use colours. You could use colour from this one. You could do each layer in a different colour. Put the signpost map in the middle, we write me. Draw a circle around it. And then after that, I'm going to pick one of these layers to do. I'm going to do this local one. Okay. Now, to do this, you might have a really good idea of local geography in your head. You might know where all the different things link up to. Or you might not. And if you don't, it's not the end of the world. What we can do is we can take this, our Google map, copy that, and we can have that to look at while we're doing this work. So let's shrink Google Maps a little bit. I'll pop it up there so you can see what I'm doing. You can also see that. Whoa, look at that. You can also see that map. Okay. Might shrink me for a minute just to give us a bit more space. Right. I put me. Oh, down there. Gives me more space. So, looking at this Google map, I can zoom out a bit. And let's pretend that I'm in school. So, Aycliffe Drive School in the middle there. In fact, let's put it in the middle, so it really is in the middle there. And I need to think about the places that are around me. So I've already listed a load of places that are around me on here. Unfortunately, I made some of these up, but some of them are real. So imagine I'm in the school, and I'm going to put arrows pointing in the direction that I think those things are in to me at the moment. I'm imagining I'm in the school looking up towards the field. So sort of with the school behind me and the field in front of me. You might be in a different place. Either get Google Maps open on something, or just if you know the local area, you might be able to have a go at this. So the shops are that direction, and they're a fair way away. So I'm going to do a reasonably long arrow, and I'm going to write shops. Now I went to Ashley Cooper School when I was younger. And Ashley Cooper School is over there. So as I just driving the corner, and Ashley Cooper in the top right hand corner. So it's a similar direction to the shops, that it's much further away. It's about, whoops, that's far away as you can get in Grove Hill. So I'll put Ashley Cooper. You might have links to that school because you might have friends or family that go there. Can't put the school on because I'm pretending I'm in the school, but you can put the school on. And the doctors, they're kind of near the shops, aren't they? Next to it. So I'll put doctors. I don't anymore, but when I was your age, I had a friend who lived in Huntingate, which is very close in that direction. So I'm going to put Christian's house. My friend Christian. I think I've got some friends who live in the bit of Grove Hill up here. Well, actually, no, that direction, that distance apart, that could be playground. The what's it called? Margaret Lloyd Park. I'm going to call it the park. So let's put park like that. Oh, my playgroup when I was younger was that way. So I can put playgroup. Struggling to fit that in. Aldi. Is Aldi or Lidl? It's Aldi, isn't it? Aldi is, I think, in that direction. I'll probably put it a bit too far down. What else can I see on here? Hopefully you can fit more things in because you'll know more people in that area. I don't live in Grove Hill anymore, so I'm struggling to think of things. But this is the basic idea. It doesn't have to be absolute perfect to scale, you know. It's just put you in the middle. Arrows pointing in the direction that you think the thing is, and the further away you think it is, the longer you draw it. Okay? So, 2 pieces of work. Let's hide that for a minute. Put me back there. So, 2 pieces of work. How high can I go? Whoa. Massive. One piece of work that's concentric rings, and then one piece of work that's a signpost map. Okay? Shouldn't be too tricky, but as always, if you've got any questions, just let us know.